Odyssey app.
No mugshot, no handcuffs. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. U.S. Marshals planning to follow routine procedures when the former president arrives at a Florida courthouse to face federal charges in a classified documents probe.
Police have already...
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show. You're probably wondering where Ryan and Hannah are. So are we. Just joking. YouTube live chat poll today. I think I might have kicked the hornet's nest, but let's go with it. If Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? There's no maybe, no ifs, no ands, no buts. I went in hard on this yesterday. I did have a stipulation, but yes or no? Should he be pardoned? Really cool, excited about our 12:25 guest. It's Joe Concha, friend of the show. He's always a good time when he's on, so he'll be on at 12:25. Go ahead and set a timer for that. But I would also recommend that you don't go anywhere because the top of the show is always awesome too with Annie's opening monologue. Then at 12:45, we're going to have Wiggins America, and Ryan is going to talk to us about some people have shared some values that their parents shared with them and instilled in them as children, and now that they're adults, they're like, I don't know if I agree with these values or not anymore. So what he's going to find out is if Annie agrees with the values of the parent or the adult that has now disagreed with it. Oh, hey.
We're in the middle of the pre-show. So.
We're doing the pre-show.
Hi.
I just explained Wiggins America. Then at 107, Heritage Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy, Jim Carafano, is going to be joining us. Always love talking to Jim. Always great insight from him. We can talk to him about the southern border, about Cuba, about China. And you say, well, Cuba. Yeah, there was some stuff that went on at Cuba too. That's the guest for the day. Hannah will share the results of the live chat poll at 12:45. Get your comments in. Why or why not Donald Trump, should he be pardoned if he's found guilty? Ryan, do you have anything to add?
Yes. To that question, go ahead.
Do any of it.
No.
No.
Go ahead.
Yes. The answer is yes.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
We're good. Pre-show. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At SimpliSafe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from SimpliSafe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install SimpliSafe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine going through our Tuesday afternoon. Nice temperatures, though a little bit warmer than yesterday. 82 for the high. Humidity level still very comfortable. Plus the winds kicking up just a little bit. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 62 for the low. Wednesday and Thursday, partly to mostly sunny skies. A little bit warmer, but nothing extreme. 89 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
There's never been a better time to get that engagement ring or fine diamond jewelry. Right now at Diamonds Direct, our most exciting offer ever. You can get instant savings up to $5,000 off any purchase or enjoy special financing for up to 5 whole years. Either way, you save big. You can't miss this limited time offer. Design your perfect ring and get our most gorgeous and most flexible financing options. Now through June 30th at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
TheDiamondShop.net. When you go visit TheDiamondShop.net online, you will see how you can become a VIP. VIPs get special discounts and merchandise, and you're on your way to that little red bag. I love the Diamond Shop Little Red Bag. It is a pleasure every time I get to see one. When my husband brings something home for me in a little red bag, I know that he got something great from great people. The Diamond Shop has been in St. Louis since 1910. They are not new to the jewelry business. In fact, they are some of the OGs of the jewelry business here in St. Louis. They are very they understand how to earn business. They understand how to work and accommodate your needs. And your needs are more than just the piece of jewelry that you're looking to buy or the maybe watch that you're looking to get. You need to understand how important retaining your clientele is to them and how that just really ends up becoming a generational thing for people in St. Louis who are looking to purchase jewelry. You can find them online and learn about everything they do and become a VIP at thediamondshop.net.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsace.hardware.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Fry Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Was that a good look for the former president to have boxes in a bathroom?
I don't know. Is it a good picture to have boxes in a garage that opens up all the time? A bathroom door locks.
So I want to do the play-by-play today. I want to do the play-by-play like the MSNBC folks and the CNN folks. Man, it's a day for them.
My hope is that once this trial gets underway and Judge Cannon, a loose cannon, if you will, Judge Cannon actually takes a moment and recognizes this extraordinary moment that we are facing in American history. I think what is absolutely critical, and David and I were talking about this earlier, what is absolutely critical in this moment in time is that facts remain front and center. So my hope is that once we get to the trial actually happening, a live audio recording will be allowed, will be accessible to the press and to the public. That will go a long way of ensuring accountability, keeping the facts first.
Isn't it really, really super frustrating when you hear people who are like, we really need to make sure that this is fair. You're like, what the? Right? Yeah, that's what we need. It's infuriating. It makes me mad. I wrote down the words extraordinary, American history, and unprecedented. Do 10 push-ups every time you hear one of those words, and you will be like Dwayne Johnson by the end of the day. This is unprecedented. I mean, I can't get... This is an unprecedented day. It's an incredibly low point in American history. I have a phrase that I use in my life, mostly to console myself, but it's you can't have good days if you don't have bad days. And I've talked before about how I'm not someone who wants to ride the highs too high or the lows too low. This is a low point. This isn't, let me see how to do this. Let me do this right. This is an extraordinarily low point, unprecedented in American history. Period. Can you make that the promo? Or something. You know, it is what it is. If at what point in time did we know that they would stop at nothing to try to get Donald Trump? Brad, you've been on this show since 2021. It's fall of 2021. This is post Joe Biden's election.
Yes.
You've only known Joe Biden's America on the radio.
Oh, man.
But you've paid attention for a long time. I know this. You should have seen this day coming.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. How long have I known that they were going to get or try to get President Trump at any cost? I would say it was the moment that he was sworn in on January 6th. Actually, it was probably before that, whenever they were reading the election results and all of those senators came up, or not senators, all those House members on the Democratic side came up trying to introduce motions to have the election thrown out. And they couldn't get a senator to agree with it. And Joe Biden had to bang the gavel and say, nope, no senator, nothing, and throw it out. I knew whenever that was the case that they weren't going to stop. They're going to come after him. The words were illegitimate president from the beginning. They couldn't get him while he was in office. They tried 2 times. They failed on both. And now they're like, well, we'll just have our revenge.
There are two theories that are being floated out there of what could happen next. One of them is, and you're going to continue to hear this, which means, like I said, they've tipped their hand a little bit here. What if there was a deal that could be reached where Donald Trump would swear to never run for office again? Oh, really? Is that what you want? Is that the end goal here? Is you just don't want Donald Trump to become the president anymore? And the other thing that you have to be paying attention to is what is going on surrounding Joe Biden. I asked yesterday when we had Andy McCarthy on the show. Started the show yesterday with Andy McCarthy. Was grateful to do it. Check the Andy Frey Show podcast if you want to hear that. I asked him, is there a victim to the crime that Donald Trump has been charged with? But in the same conversation, in the same breath that Donald Trump has been charged with, and to the crimes that have been alleged to Joe Biden, alleged to Hillary Clinton, that many people have seen the behind-the-scenes portion that said that they just took the pitch on Hillary Clinton and shifted their focus on where? Donald Trump. Is there a victim? And Andy McCarthy's answer was, yes, there absolutely was a victim. The American people. And you have to be able to look at this whole scenario in a broad sense that understands the sacred nature of the American people in the relationship that must exist between the American people and the American government. So you have to be able to understand that. You have to be able to have the 30,000-foot view on all of those individuals to understand how careless these allegations make the person who had said documents, said intel, whatever it might be, to how self-aggrandizing one might be in the possession of this information for their own purposes, flying in the face of what they are tasked with and charged with and held to be responsible for in this intelligence in their possession when they hold these high offices. One of those individuals, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, one of those individuals had the ability legally to declassify documents. That's the individual who's being charged right now. There is a delineation that exists between the possession of classified documents. Should they be unclassified, then there's no problem here with the Presidential Records Act, and the understanding of what was done with these documents and why what was done, so on and so forth. If you are somebody who is observing what is taking place with Donald Trump today, and if you are observing with great interest what could potentially be happening to Donald Trump because of what is happening today, the charges that he's surrendering himself today in Miami, because you know in your heart that it's finally time that this man who put himself before the country, this man who put himself before the people that this man who was privy to the highest secrets and intelligence that America has was reckless with it, was focused on himself throughout the process of being there. I'd have to ask you, who are you talking about?
Let me tell you, this FBI report is a damning report. First of all, they had us go to a secure facility where we read classified information to read an unclassified document. If there was nothing to see here, why would FBI go to such lengths? Then you actually read the document. And when you read the document, one thing that becomes crystal clear is that the people at Burisma knowingly paid $5 million to Hunter, $5 million to Joe Biden, so that Joe Biden would use the power of his office as vice president to pressure Ukraine to fire the prosecutor who was looking into Burisma.
Actual evidence that Joe Biden did something specifically with his position as the vice president of the United States to enrich himself and his family. There is evidence. You're not supposed to know about it. Key in there on what Congressman Donalds is talking about. This document, this FBI document 1023 or whatever it's called, that they were privy to in a SCIF, is not a classified document. Why are they being so protective of it? What else does this document entail?
The 1023 produced to the House committees redacted reference that the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden allegedly has audio recordings of his conversation with them. 17 such recordings. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and then Vice President Joe Biden. These recordings were allegedly kept as a sort of insurance policy for the foreign national in case that he got into a tight spot. The 1023 also indicates that then Vice President Joe Biden may have been involved in Burisma employing Hunter Biden.
$5 million to Hunter and $5 million to Joe Biden. The truth is that what is taking place in Miami about Donald Trump today is an important moment for America to watch. And on this show, I am going to say that I feel if you commit crimes, you should be held accountable for them. But you cannot apply the law unjustly and base it on political means. If you look back on the impeachment, the first impeachment of Donald Trump, I mean, it's like a bingo card of political hot button issues, all wrapped up in this one political move by the Democratic left who had it out for Donald Trump. And why did they have it out for him? Donald Trump made a phone call to a man and wanted to know from this man, wanted a little extra help on getting to the bottom of something that was an active investigation in the United States, because there were allegations that there was somebody who was using their position in American government to benefit themselves and their family. Now, I can see why Donald Trump would look at this and say, this is apparently a really big deal to Americans because they've been after me for the entirety of the time that I've even suggested that I would be the president of the United States. That first time when he came down the escalator, when he was asked before he officially ran, he said, well, I haven't decided what to do yet, but I will tell you right now, if I run, I will win. It must be a big deal to these people because they keep coming after me alleging that I'm doing this. And we have an active investigation open on a very prominent figure in this country. And we're looking in to what is going on here. And I'd like some help on that. And you know what the Democrats who are in the power in power in the House did? They impeached the president of the United States because they said this is an election year. And you are doing this specifically to dig up dirt on a political opponent. That political opponent was Joe Biden. He was not anywhere close to leading in the polls when this was going on. But the Democrats said, hell no, you are not going to do this to Joe Biden. We're going to stop you, and we're going to stop you at all costs. We're going to impeach you over this. He wouldn't get charged, of course, because he didn't do anything wrong. But there was an active investigation opened into Hunter Biden and Joe Biden at that time. The FBI had the laptop at that time. The New York Post hadn't printed the story yet at that time. They knew everything. They don't care if people use their position in government to enrich themselves as long as they're on that same side. And anybody who comes in and threatens that, they will use the full power of the bureaucracy that they have sown so deeply in Washington, D.C., and their colluding cohorts in the media who are willing to lap up everything that is served to them to destroy a political opponent. That phone call, if you're not familiar with it, that phone call that the president was impeached over, calling somebody to find out if they could help with this process, was with President Zelensky of Ukraine. We have given a lot of money to Ukraine. We don't know where that money is going. When Ukraine asked for it, Joe Biden gave it to them. And now we know there are tapes that exist and have existed in this FBI 1023 document that have Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's voice making a deal because they wanted somebody in the Ukrainian political sphere to be gone. And Joe Biden said, I could do that for you for a price. But yes, let's watch Donald Trump's motorcade as it goes through the streets of Miami. Yes, let's all sit on the edge of our seats as if we're watching an O.J. Simpson car chase on the television so we can see what happens next as they move 35 miles an hour through the streets of beautiful, free, I might add, Miami. Let's watch and all pretend like Donald Trump is the worst politician to ever grace Washington, D.C. You're not that stupid. I'm not that stupid. And the truth is somewhere in between that dichotomy that everybody else in the political sphere is trying to make you believe. They want you to only think with your heart and your emotions. They don't want you to use your head. Is it possible to look at what Donald Trump did and say, why did you do that? It is. Is it possible to look at what Donald Trump has done or said in the past and go, why are you doing that? It is. Can you hold that thought in your brain at the same time and know this trial today starts because they were going to get him at any costs? And if I were Donald Trump, I'd be angry as hell as well. And I'd want to fight like hell as well. Are they going to get him in the end? I don't know. But while this circus is in town in Miami, where's Joe Biden? What's he doing? Your dishonest president is hiding, and I think we all know why. And I'm talking about the one who is in the White House. When we come back, Joe Concha is going to talk to us about what's taking place surrounding the Biden family. Is it getting bad? Is the Trump situation bad? I'll ask him about that as well. But there are two blockbuster stories in front of you right now. And I bet, depending on which media you flip on, you're going to get a healthy dose of the one instead of the other. We on this show are going to cover them both. We are dedicated to what America is and nothing else. Whoever serves those interests, that's the corner we're in. And that corner is your corner. We'll be back with Joe Concha in a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Jen Teskey of Remax Alliance is your go-to for sharp and witty and I'm going to just throw this word out there too, fun. When it comes to making a real estate purchase or sale, Jen Teskey is a ball of fire, and she knows the industry and the environment in Illinois. So if you're looking to sell a home in Illinois, if you're looking to sell it yesterday, or if you're looking to sell it within the next year, you connect with Remax Alliance's Jen Teskey and the Jen Teskey team, and you are going to go, I get it. Now I know what Annie's talking about. And I mean, it's going to take 2 minutes on a phone call. You're going to understand quickly. You can call her or you can text Jen Teskey at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. And get connected with the best real estate team in the Illinois game. At Remax Alliance, it's Jen Teskey. She has 15 plus years of experience that help families just like yours sell and buy homes. Get connected with her. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, jenteskeyhomes.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type. Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you clearly have a refined palate. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, what you know, Joe? I don't know nothing.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Tell me something. What you know, Joe? Ain't
ain't conniving, just ain't jiving. I don't know.
The Biden family has at least 20 shell companies that were created for the sole purpose to launder money to at least 9 Biden family members. When you create a bunch of shell companies for the sole purpose of laundering money, that's called racketeering. And the money laundering, those aren't my words. Those are the words of at least 6 big publicly traded banks that filed bank violations against the Biden family. They said it sure appears that they're money laundering. So these are some serious crimes that we've already uncovered, but there's still many more banks to go and many more shell companies that I think that we'll discover along the way.
Oh, what you know, Joe. Joe Concha, columnist for The Hill and Fox News contributor.
Oh, it's an updated columnist for The Messenger. I love checking out The Messenger. Joe Concha, thanks for coming back with us. I've made that part of my daily routine, checking out that website. There's so much good stuff there.
Annie, that's great to hear. You know what? I mean, I work for them, so I get it that I may be a little biased here, but if I didn't, I would go there every day because you get everything.
Yes.
You really do. And particularly the opinions part, it's not just from the right, it's not just from the left. I mean, just a great array across the spectrum. And if you see a headline, you have a feeling you're not going to like it, you don't have to read it.
Amen.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. So it's a nice wide net, and the reporting, I think, has been excellent. We've had many exclusives lately. So themessenger.com, all you folks out there, it's really gaining some steam, and it's exciting to be part of something new.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. It's refreshing, actually. So let's do it this way. I'm going to let you pick door number 45 or door number 46 because we got 2 blockbuster stories right now in what's taking place with former President Trump, but also the news that's somehow or another, I have no idea how, flying under the radar with the doors closing in, the walls closing in on Joe Biden.
Boy, what a choice there. I'm going to take door number 47. Okay.
Ooh, I like that
one. My own door. Yeah, because I just wrote a column, and I just finished it right when your producer called. And it is about how, the Trump circus is in Miami, 37 more indictments, 34 from Alvin Bragg for paying hush money to a porn star. Here, this is about documents at Mar-a-Lago weren't given back in the manner, or at least the pace that the archives would have liked. In other words, things that I don't know. Let's put it this way. If only there was a precedent to somebody taking documents when they shouldn't have and then had them in an insecure and unsecure location. Oh, that's right, Hillary Clinton. Except with her, it was infinitely worse because her server actually got hacked by foreign adversaries, right? We don't think anybody entered Mar-a-Lago and saw these documents. It sure happened with Hillary, and she wasn't charged. And with Joe Biden, we know about the infamous Corvette and the documents next to that particular vehicle in Delaware and at the Penn Biden Center that's owned by the Chinese. So I would hope that reasonable people just look at this and they say, unless you're going to indict all 3, then you can't indict any of them at all. And this is just really a ruse by the Democratic Party, particularly the Biden administration. And don't tell me, Mr. President, that, I never speak to Merrick Garland. Of course you do. Or if you don't, the people running this White House do. And they're making sure that, I don't know if you heard this, Annie, this particular, what do we call it? I guess the federal case, right? There's the Bragg case and there's a federal case. This particular federal case over documents, it's going to go on past the 2024 election, this whole trial. And that's the whole point. So we are choosing door number 45 as far as what we're going to talk about. And all the news organizations, this will be wall-to-wall-to-wall coverage. And whenever something new develops, that will be the only thing we talk about. And we're not talking about door number 46 in terms of Joe Biden, too old, too incompetent, crime out of control in major American cities, education test scores at a 30-year low, national security crisis at the border, China eyeing up Taiwan, and obviously wages not keeping up with inflation. Those things aren't going to be discussed at all of you Trump, 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 and not Trump policies, but Trump problems as far as the legal process is concerned, and that's a whole bowl of wrong.
Yeah, and the American people just sit here and twiddle their thumbs, and the question, where's the evidence, applies equally, but for both of these cases, because when we see what they are doing to Donald Trump, and everybody knows that it's a political hit job, but at the same time, if he did it, it's complicated. People who love Donald Trump and have seen him be in hot pursuit from his political enemies from the moment he announced his presidency are looking at this and they're saying, it seems like he did something wrong, but you're not doing this to other people. What's the evidence here? And if it compares to the evidence for the other folks, what are Americans supposed to do right now other than continue to bang their head against the wall?
Yeah, I think that, it's bang your head against the wall, take a nap. It's fatigue, right? It's just, this has been going on, as you said, 5 minutes after Donald Trump was elected, it was all about Russia collusion for 3 years, right? And then when that didn't work, because if the special counsel report did find any kind of wrongdoing, any hint of it, then Nancy Pelosi, again, in about 5 minutes would have drawn up articles of impeachment around that, and she didn't because there was no there, right? So then, like, right after that, then suddenly, the whistleblowers come forth about a call to the Ukrainian president that Trump told Zelensky that he should investigate Joe and Hunter Biden, which, when you look back on it now, that's a pretty legitimate request,
sure,
right, given everything we're seeing. So I don't know. So that led to a whole impeachment that we had to live through, and then there's the impeachment over January 6th, and it never ends. Everything shingles one onto the other. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, I mean, there is clearly evidence here that the family profited from services rendered. We still don't know what they are at energy companies, particularly when the guidance counselor, right? Which Biden is that? There's like 9 of them. I forget her name. Anyway, it's the niece of Joe Biden, and she's a guidance counselor in Delaware, and she's getting tens of thousands of dollars for doing what exactly? I'd love to know, right? What did Jim Biden do? What did Hunter Biden do?
I was just going to say. We know
exactly.
way too much about what Hunter Biden did. None of it has to do with being an expert in energy.
No. Absolutely not. And then how does Joe Biden, and everybody says, well, but Joe Biden's name wasn't on any of these records. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they would probably try to keep that part out. How does he afford again? Because, I know what real estate goes for here on the East Coast, particularly on the ocean. How does he afford 2 houses in Delaware that should have their own zip code again? I'm just curious, because it certainly wasn't from the vice presidential or senatorial type of pay, and he didn't do any speeches for any big money. So where do those houses come from exactly? I wonder. But anyway, to get to my original point, as I'm rambling throughout this, a new poll came out, and it shows that 50% of Americans, this is from News Nation, 50% of Americans would consider a third-party candidate. I've never seen a number that high before. Right. And then when they break it down, the matchup is basically a dead heat between Trump and Biden, something like 33% each. But then at 23% is a third-party candidate to be named. So it's a striking distance kind of thing. And if you remember 1992, Ross Perot, who was, a little crazy, he ran for president as an independent. And then he dropped out because he thought people were spying on him. And then he jumped back in like 6 weeks before the race, and he still got 20%. So if the bar here is you could find somebody somewhat reasonable, common sense, could give a good speech, and that person could get 35%, a third-party candidate, I never thought I'd say this in my lifetime. I think there's a real appetite for it. And I think since the bar is so low, that person could win.
Man, the bar is really low. Joe Manchin is said to be a dead man walking in West Virginia going into that Senate race. I think there are a lot of people who would look at him and go, okay, sure. Why not?
Here's I put that part in the column, so it's good you have that. I'm going to that part now. You have Jim Justice at 66% approval in West Virginia. You have Joe Manchin at 38%. All right. And I think that Manchin, if you told me 6 months ago that he was going to be a third-party candidate, I'd say, yep, that would be a pretty good choice. But then he folded on that Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
And Republicans went for him being a hero to him to we can't trust this guy either. And then Manchin tried to backtrack. Wall Street Journal op-ed that he wrote. He's like, it was betrayal. The president sold me one bill of goods and they end up doing another. Well, yeah, of course. Well, you think you're dealing with an honest person? So I think Manchin's out. I think it's got to be somebody from the business community, like Trump,
Mark
like
Cuban?
a Youngkin. Mark Cuban, maybe. I don't know. I tried to think who I filled in the blank with on this one. I used to work for Cisco way back when, a big IT company. There's a guy named Chuck Robbins who runs that place. Said you could vote for this guy tomorrow, like North Carolina, smart guy. But yeah, he's not going to run. What am I saying? But the point is that if you could find that person, I think the appetite, no one wants this rematch. No one wants this rematch. But I don't see anybody catching Trump at this point because he's got that solid 30% core base that will never, ever leave him. Like when he said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my people would still support me, he wasn't joking.
Right.
Like they really probably would in some way. Trump was just defending himself, whatever. There's always an excuse, right? And then with Biden, I guess he'll be the nominee because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is kind of like a fringe candidate. The fact that he's only getting 20% and Marianne Williamson's getting 10, like 1/3 of his support is gone to those two candidates.
That's wild.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So let's make it a homework assignment, Andy. Like the next time I come on, I will have 3 top
third-party candidates.
Third-party candidates for you, yeah.
Man, I just think that when you say nobody wants this matchup, I think that is very true in the political sphere. There's the nerds, that are all in for party over everything in many cases. When nobody wants this matchup, it's so bizarre that that's likely still going to be the one we get.
Yeah, I guess that's how powerful the two parties are, with all the money behind it and so on, and name brand recognition. Trump was a president, Biden was a vice president, now currently the president. I just wish, one of the two would just put, the country before their own ambitions, and just particularly Biden, and just be like, you know what, I'm done. That's it. I don't want to be 86 years old and be in the White House. Then again, he never works. So it's like not the worst job in the world because everybody else is kind of doing things for him. So maybe he figures, okay, I could just coast through the next 6 years, but we should demand better. I think that's the bottom line.
Well, I am so grateful, Joe Concha, that you've carved out some of your Donald Trump driving on the highway watching time to join us here on the Annie Frey Show, because this is just riveting stuff. And he's on the road right now. Yeah, it's just like if they would have put him in a white Bronco, then this would at least be moderately entertaining to me. I don't understand the voyeurism that goes along with this, but it's just, I guess, part of the whole process. The hype, it rates. I do understand it, actually. I just don't want to understand it. We appreciate you, Joe Concha. I want to remind people of your book, Come On, Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. An important read right now. And every time I talk to you, it's like you're going to have to make a new installment. You're going to have to bring out a new edition because it keeps getting worse.
It does write itself. That's true. But and the funny thing is, it's probably pretty much the only book you can get on Joe Biden. Like, where's Maggie Haberman? Where's Jonathan Carl? Where's Joe Costa? Where's all the books about Biden? Since you guys are speaking truth to power, screw you. They still write about Trump instead of like the current guy. I just, the piousness I can't stand. I really can't. I gotta go.
The current guy. Take a deep breath, Joe Concha. We're glad you're here. Thanks for coming to talk to us.
Bye, Annie.
Bye. He just lifts my spirits. It's almost as if Joe Concha is the inner voice that's going on in my head that I have to polish before it comes out onto the air. And it's just good to have him be here. And I really like that he called Joe Biden the current guy, because it is a cult never Trumper thing to call. They don't want to refer to Donald Trump as Donald Trump. They call him the former guy, or TFG on social media. TCG. The president of the United States. The current guy. You need to exhale after that.
That was a great interview.
It always is. It is every time. Love having Joe on with us. If you enjoy hearing Joe Concha get all of that out of his system, it feels like it helps you too. Make sure you go on Twitter and tell him hello and tell him you're glad that you were able to hear him here, because he's a good friend of the show and he's always kind to us when we make the request to have him on. At Joe Concha TV. Tell him hi, and be sure to check out The Messenger. It is a wonderful website. Add it to your rotation. You'll be glad you did. When we come back, Wiggins America in studio, and the car is probably still on the highway. Donald Trump is in a car going from point A to point B. We'll continue to cover it here. Do not go away. Back in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, the family-owned and operated business at the Retirement Advisory Group. They guide you through that last part of your working years, your career. You've got a little bit saved up for your retirement, but the difference between saving for retirement and living off your retirement, huge difference. And when you're watching the economy kind of go the way it is right now, where costs are going up, skyrocketing on everything, and the market goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it makes you a little crazy. That's why you hire the Retirement Advisory Group. But before you hire them, do what I would do, vet them. I think it's a smart move. When you call them at 314-993-9494, you are scheduling a free sit-down convo with them to say, all right, what can you do for me? I mean, put them on the hot seat there and make them earn your business. I think that's a good, smart thing to do. You'll understand why lots and lots of 97.1 listeners and Annie Frey Show listeners have said, yeah, this makes total sense. I'm going to hire you. 314-993-9494. Call 314-993-9494 and schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review today. Online at retirementkey.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, Trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
There's never been a better time to get that engagement ring or fine diamond jewelry. Right now at Diamonds Direct, our most exciting offer ever. You can get instant savings up to $5,000 off any purchase or enjoy special financing for up to 5 whole years. Either way, you save big. You can't miss this limited time offer. Design your perfect ring and get our most gorgeous and most flexible financing options. Now through June 30th at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
If Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? That is today's Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll vote, and we will share the results of that poll at the end of the show. The time right now, 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for AC Tune-Up.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Stands in the corner with
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Wait till they hear my old shotgun blast, shotgun boogie. I done saw your track. Look out, Mr. Rabbit, when I cock my hammer back.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
What was that one? New song? New song.
No.
Old song?
No. Like the band. New song.
Yeah. Was that new song? The band?
No, I don't. She didn't know.
Was that Casting Crowns?
No. Shotgun Boogie. Yeah. Man, things are getting wild over at Joy.
If they played that, that'd be great. All right. What I've got here are a bunch of pieces of advice that people have gotten in their lives that they say they completely disagree with their parents on. And what I want to know is whether you agree with the parents or the kids. Keep in mind here that the kids are grown children for the most part here, not like little kids. All right. Number one, college will be your only open door to a good life, the parent said. Kid says, not exactly true. I tried the college thing and it was not for me. Could I be making more money? Sure. And even the college graduates reading this are agreeing with me, LOL. But I'm just fine right now. I have a 401k, savings, great credit, a home, car paid off. Not too shabby for someone with no degree. My husband is the same. No degree, and he's doing fine. We're not drowning in debt, nor do we owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans.
That college is the only way to a good life?
Parents say college is your only open door to the good life.
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah, I think I started with that one because I figured we'd all agree on that one. Unless Brad disagrees.
Donald Trump is still on the highway driving. He's probably not driving.
Definitely not.
Is he on the highway now, or is he
Maybe.
just on a side street?
So many lane road.
Or maybe he's leaping out of the back
He's
seat.
making a left turn. I'm watching
Under a
behind you.
bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's making a left turn.
There are
Sound
some
like an
trees on the
announcer.
right. Parking garage. Another parking
And
garage.
there's a building, larger building on the left.
In touch and up to date, right here. Younger, smarter, better. 97 Lane.
Now that's a throwback. Number 2, parents said forgiveness. They said the parents were steadfast that you have to forgive people, not for them, but for yourself. Kid says, as I've gotten older, I realize that's complete BS. Sometimes people don't deserve your forgiveness, and more often than not, it doesn't hinder my life in any way to not grant forgiveness to those people.
There's no way to have this, to respond to this without separating the difference between biblical forgiveness and secular forgiveness. And if you're talking about biblical forgiveness, you don't want to draw that line.
You're required biblically.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus says, you want to be forgiven?
No. And
You
also in the entirely self-centered world that we live in right now, people, you have to understand how freeing it is to actually truly forgive someone, and saying that there are a lot of times where people will say, I forgive you, or act as though they forgive you. You got to wake up the next day and do it again and again the next day. And I am working on it. Not good at it.
I think everybody is.
Working on it. Yes. The idea that forgiveness is a one-time decision, if that's the way you have it in your mind, this is something that has changed dramatically for me in the last 5 years of my life, that the understanding of forgiving somebody, especially if they're completely non-repentant, like something happens in your life and it's jaw-droppingly like, oh my gosh, and you were waiting for them to see the light and come to you and go, I really messed that up. I am so sorry. That would be an opportunity for you to very freely go, thank you for saying that. I forgive you. And let it go. Most of the time, those people don't ever come to you and acknowledge that they were so much in the wrong. You will still be freed if you forgive them, but you might have to wake up every day and choose to forgive them again. And if you've ever done that to someone else, you're going to want to hope that they have the same mentality to you.
Yeah, it's possible and even probable in a lot of situations that you would never actually have that conversation, that reconciliation conversation.
No, that's a rarity.
Which is different than just forgiveness. Reconciliation is good, but it doesn't always happen. With forgiveness, for myself, I have had to realize that there, especially in the most extreme circumstances, I try to make it a practice of constant forgiveness where you just kind of get in the habit. But for those really big ones, I've had to say out loud to myself when I'm alone, I forgive that person, and not mean it. And say it before I even feel it at all, to force myself to acknowledge it.
And as a Christian myself, the reason why I believe it's so what I would add to that conversation between the parents and the grown children is the need for the understanding of what actual forgiveness is, which is something that you can't even grasp because it's so vast. I mean, there are things that we have all done that nobody even knows that we've done, that should those things be made to come to light, it's just, you can't even stomach the understanding of what it would mean for all of your sins to be laid bare. When you measure up what people have done to you to what you've done to people, things you've done to people you don't even know you've done to people. It's not a time to be withholding forgiveness.
Just a little update on the Trump situation. It looks like they have stopped at a parking gate and Trump has forgotten his parking ticket.
Pedestrian crossing ahead. It's just another piece of information.
Yep. So they're just sitting at a gate. Everybody's trying to figure out who's paying.
Restricted parking.
Nobody has any cash.
Yeah. Are there enough? There's a lot of vehicles here, too.
Indicted president parking up to the right. Two streets and to the right.
Gold level.
No, they're putting him in the back. Number 3, it's always the parents said, it's always cheaper to do it yourself. The kid says, my parents are amazing people and have always worked extremely hard. They DIY'd every house project. Unfortunately, I watched them waste a lot of time and money over the years, so I don't do it as much. Always cheaper and better to do it yourself.
Heck no.
Brad?
Whoa,
It is
no.
not always cheaper and better to do it yourself.
Negative.
Yeah, well, there are people who live that way as much as possible. I live that way as much as the opposite is possible. I try to do it the least amount I can.
You're also the cheapest person I know.
But I spend money on this, for sure. So
I use a formula. I have an hourly rate that I pay myself, and if I say pay myself in air quotes, if I can do it myself reasonably well in less time than it would take for that hourly rate to accumulate to pay somebody else, then I do it myself. If not, I pay somebody else.
You got to be good at it.
Yeah.
If you're not good at it, don't pretend.
I'm not good at anything.
Yeah, no joke.
I don't even try to put together IKEA furniture, and it's supposed to be pretty easy. Number 4, the parents say not to live with a partner before marriage. Kid says, not only do I completely disagree, I actually find it necessary to live with a potential spouse before marriage so you know their true habits and if you are compatible in a shared space. Anybody have any strong opinions about?
I'm a big fan of monogamy and abstinence. And if that makes me really nerdy and you are kids who are sitting in the car right now with your parents because you're home from school, it's okay to not sleep with somebody before you marry them and not live with them. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
It is part of your options. And that's what I would advocate for.
Annie is kind of nerdy. I'm super cool, and I believe the same thing. So you could latch on to that, kids, if you want to. Actually, every stat I've ever seen says that living together before marriage actually makes it less likely that a marriage would last as long.
You're not cohabitating, and when you live together beforehand, you're making all of that optional.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is bigger than optional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems counterintuitive, the stats. It would seem as if, well, you live together, it's like practice for marriage, but it ends up being the opposite statistically. Number 5, hard work pays off, and you can do anything you put your mind to, is what the parents say. The kid says working hard will kill you and have you being a pack mule for billionaires. Life is about working smarter and being efficient, not doing all this grueling work, and getting bloody knuckles and not having anything to show for it.
What a baby.
So you guys agree with the kid, right?
I agree with the parents on the hard work being essential.
You can't do everything you put your mind to.
Yeah, I agree with the kid on that one. I think there are some things you can't do. Like Ryan, I don't think you'll ever be a starting center for an NBA basketball team. I just don't think you're tall enough.
WNBA, maybe.
Wouldn't it be awesome if I started trying out for girls' sports?
You should lead a charge to get the WNBA to come to St. Louis.
As a passionate fan of, I don't even know what it stands
yourself.
for, but yeah, I think I could make the team now. So why don't you come here? Like, I'm not going to move to you. You
There's
come to me.
There's a new game in town, and it's me and the WNBA, Ryan Wiggins. Then we could play the Wiggins drop, and we could have our very own Wiggins.
Yeah, it'd be a real one.
WNBA player in St. Louis.
Yes.
Hey, when we come back, Donald Trump's probably still going to be in a car on the road, but we will let you know. Jim Carafano as well.
Well, I met a pretty gal.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic. Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today. Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
You know, smiling is my favorite. Can I say? Can I say that on the air? Smiling is my favorite. Is that like copyrighted or something?
Spaghetti on my spaghetti.
No,
sorry.
maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Smiling is something. I've realized this over the course of knowing the people at Foley Dental and understanding how important their work is outside of just going to get 6 months cleaning and everything, that a lot of people are very, very self-conscious about their smile, and they've smiled with their mouth closed forever because they're not comfortable with their teeth. There are missing teeth that people have to deal with, and you're just not confident. It takes so much away from how you live your life and the freedom that you get to have when you smile to brightly grace everybody's day with your happiness. That is a real true thing. Foley Dental, they are fantastic with their doctors who can help you with your implants and dentures in ways that you may not have known about. Reach out to them at 618-288-9670, online at foleydentalgroup.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's at the courthouse. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Donald Trump just arriving at federal court in Miami to face 37 counts, accusing him of mishandling classified documents and obstructing the government's efforts to get them back.
He will be digitally fingerprinted, no ink involved. And instead of taking a new photo of him, they're going to upload an existing photo, but they're still not going to release that existing photo to the media. And at no time will he be placed in any handcuffs.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at the courthouse, where both supporters and critics of Trump have been gathering. President Biden not answering shouted questions about whether he has read the Trump indictment. He's having an Oval Office meeting with the head of NATO about Ukraine. The U.S. Transportation Secretary visits Philadelphia, where the collapsed section of a critical highway has to be rebuilt after a fiery tanker truck crash.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg noted the importance of the I-95 corridor to moving people and goods, saying there may be short-term cost increases due to detours as the road is fixed. He added knowing how factors played into the collapse will be critical moving forward.
Heat and fire and stress on a structure that no bridge or highway can tolerate. Whether there are any issues that we can learn from for the future, that's exactly what the investigation is going to teach us more about.
It is expected to take months to reconnect the I-95 overpass. The truck's driver has not been officially named.
Fox's Gernal Scott, the medical examiner, still working to positively identify remains found at the scene. Police in England searching for a motive after a deadly attack in the city of Nottingham, where 2 college students and a man were fatally stabbed. Police say the suspect then used the man's van to run down pedestrians. A 31-year-old is in custody on suspicion of murder. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At SimpliSafe, we design award-winning security to protect every inch of your home. It's easy to set up yourself, and now there's an even easier option. Have an expert do it for you with SimpliSafe Pro Install. Always protecting, never a contract. 2 easy installation options. Backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine going through our Tuesday afternoon. Nice temperatures, though a little bit warmer than yesterday. 82 for the high. Humidity level still very comfortable. Plus the winds kicking up just a little bit. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 62 for the low. Wednesday and Thursday, partly to mostly sunny skies, a little bit warmer, but nothing extreme. 89 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
After his federal indictment, President Trump will speak. We will carry it live. Tonight, 7:15, Trump will address everything live right here on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Coverage starts at 7.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Now's the time to get started on that next outdoor project at your house with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here from my friends at Chesterfield Fence. You're going to love this company. They're locally owned and operated since 1968. And if you have their sign in your front yard, it's a sign you have the very best. Stop by their showroom in Chesterfield. Take a look at their beautiful wood and vinyl fences. If you need a deck, they have the beautiful cedar, of course, but that Vecadec vinyl decking, no maintenance. It's fantastic. They've got lots of great deals. 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. When you mention you heard Mark Cox talking about this, they have custom sunrooms, screen rooms, pergolas, patios, even retaining walls they can work on for you. And of course, Better Business Bureau accredited business with an A+ rating. Call them today at 636-532-4054 or go online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Hello, I am your Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik. As State Treasurer, I am the custodian of unclaimed property like military medals that came from safe deposit boxes. If you or a loved one served in the United States Armed Forces, we may be able to help you recover lost medals. It is our patriotic duty to return lost medals to veterans and their relatives. For more information, go to showmemoney.com.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to yourEyeDoc.com today. That's yourEyeDoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you're injured and in your darkest hour, Onder Law is not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here with us. It's a beautiful day here in St. Louis, and it appears to be a beautiful day in Miami. However, we are watching as President Trump arrives at the federal courthouse in Miami to turn himself in after being indicted last week. He is to enter his plea soon. We're going to follow it. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot to do or say here on the radio other than the fact that we're going to keep you abreast of anything as it continues to develop. I want to get straight to our guest. Jim Carafano joins us. He's the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation and a friend of our show here. Jim, I want to ask you a very open-ended question because I am really concerned about your thoughts and position right now. The state of the United States of America seems, from where I sit, to be on very shaky ground. We're I don't know if we're distracted or properly focused on what's taking place in Miami, what's taking place with the Burisma controversy around Joe Biden. How safe and secure is the United States of America right now while we are paying attention to all of these bombshell stories?
Well, other than the incredibly wide open border, which is less safe now than it was on 9/11, and less safe every day, and is literally probably the greatest single most self-imposed national security risk that this country has ever done. Putting that aside, and granted that if you're Al-Qaeda, or ISIS, or China, or Russia, or Iran, you're not putting this aside. You're thinking about, oh, here's a gift I wasn't looking for. How can I exploit this? But that aside, I think, the our enemies fear this country. They don't fear Joe Biden. They think he's an idiot. But they do fear this country. You look, for example, at things like, Putin should be marching into Paris today. And the reason why he was stopped in Ukraine is because the United States, not because we had a good president who's smart, knows what he's doing, but the United States had the capacity to provide resources so the Ukrainians could fight their fight and stop Russia on the border. And they saw that, the Chinese saw it. So at the end of the day, they do fear this country, but they don't fear Joe Biden. I'll tell you the biggest problem, well, for this administration, that the Miami thing and the burying the scandal of pay for play by the president are doing, which is the cornerstone of this administration is of their foreign policy. They claim is democracy promotion, right? Mm-hmm. The reality is they shame governments that disagree with them, that don't like their energy policy or their gender policy, and it has nothing to do with democracy, right? They just pick on the countries that they don't like, even ones that are allies, and they actually ignore incredibly egregious genocidal violations by other countries, right? So it's always been kind of the joke. But now when you see a government actively suppressing an investigation into to politicians who have a D in front of their name and stretching the rule of law to go after people with an R in front of their name, the notion that somehow the United States stands for freedom and democracy in the world is when the Biden guys show up and they say, oh, we heard about talk about democracy, people literally have to bury their face in their armpits and laugh. So it does hurt our credibility around the world, and it just makes us look like idiots. And here's the problem. It's not America. It's every day people in Moscow and in Havana and in Venezuela and in Moscow and Beijing and Tehran and every other bad place you can think of. They go to bed at night asking themselves, how can I take advantage of Joe Biden?
Yeah. I mean, that makes me sitting here in the center of the country very concerned about what it is that we have coming in the next few years, where President Biden still is the president, should he win another term. I have to swallow hard on that one. I want to ask separately. I want to ask separate questions because I think they're separate conversations, but both are important to be had. Joe Biden they're alleging, we've got the FBI's 1023 document that says that Joe Biden and his family took $10 million to enact a certain policy in Ukraine. Right. Tell me what your concerns, or maybe lack of concern, and how that type of behavior by the then vice president, should he have committed those crimes, if that's what he did, how does that affect our ability in our country to stay safe?
Here's the concern, and it's the same as with the Hillary Clinton emails and other scandals as well, as the government did not follow established procedures. It wasn't open and transparent in the way it normally is in these things, and it looks like they put their fingers on the scale. That's not a judgment on whether an actual crime was committed. But it is a notion that the application of law was not fairly executed. And look, if the vice president of the United States took a cash bribe, that is, when you say kind of high crimes and misdemeanors, that's a legitimate issue. That the president used his office, and if that's true, and made money off of that, and not only is it egregious as a crime, what you have done is you have disguised a bit of information that makes you culpable to blackmail by all kinds of nefarious people. It's the kind of thing that, even if people want to vote you, you can be convicted of a crime and be voted in the president. But
yeah, it's really important information for people to know right now.
Right, but the point is to hide that from the American people, and this is the egregious thing. I mean, this is not put the criminal stuff aside, but burying the Hunter thing is that, well, Russian disinformation is a lie. Basically, hiding relevant information from the American people is an egregious act of attacking the spirit of democracy. This is akin to when Woodrow Wilson was incapacitated, and they just pretended that he wasn't. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was not right. That was, you were hiding things from democracy. Okay, FDR, they kind of kept quiet about a lot of his secrets and some of his picadillos and everything else, but none of that was impeding his capacity to govern. Woodrow Wilson actually couldn't even, sip a bowl of soup. And people were using the authority of the President of the United States. I mean, so these are the kind of really egregious things that this could be. And so on both the political level and the criminal level, it raises real issues. The case of Trump is really the doppelganger opposite. Rather than following established procedures, they've gone overboard the other way. And we see this with the leaks. We see this with the rooting around trying to find a law that they can accuse him with. I mean, this is clearly, regardless of the merits of the case against Trump, right? Because I'm not a lawyer,
right?
But nobody can argue anything but the government was weaponized to go after the political enemies of the Biden administration. And again, this is a very, very serious thing.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano, who's the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Here's a phrase that I keep hearing, and I have an idea, and I think people listening hear this phrase, and they have an idea. But I want you, as a world traveler, someone who has conversations with people across this globe, the phrase banana republic, what is it? And are we threatening to be one?
Well, the original term banana republic actually came from U.S. banana companies, basically buying governments in Latin America and telling them what to do, right? So the notion that, and this, I don't think, to be fair, I make this joke as well, right? Are we a banana republic or are we just bananas? But the reality is I would not dispute the argument that there are people who are abusing the power of government and are actually weaponizing government in ways that are impermissible, inexcusable, and just flat wrong. But I will say that the United States has a lot of checks and balances. We are a very resilient system, and you can abuse the system, you can twist the system, you can torque the system, you can push the system, but it's far from broken. And then hopefully you will suffer the whirlwind of trying to do that. Of abusing the system, that you will pay a price for that, because the system is pretty resilient and it will bounce back. And people who think I'm above the law, they will wind up in jail.
Jim Carafano, a few minutes left with you here. While the country, at least, and likely the world, is watching what's going on in Miami, and with one eye potentially moving back to the situation surrounding Joe Biden, that's getting closer and closer to him. We see China, we see Russia, we see Cuba in the news, and we, as Americans, should be paying attention to these stories as well, because you said this last week. Don't forget that even if it's not your key issue, you still are electing a commander-in-chief when you elect the president. What's going on in the rest of the world while we aren't looking?
Well, I will say, I think, honestly, everybody sees the Trump thing as political, and their views are largely shaped by their politics. What happens with the president and his we'll have to wait to see that. So, to me, right now, the really big thing is the key pacing item in the world today really is China. And what's happening is the Biden administration has reflexively gone back to the policies of the Biden administration, which is this kind of very milquetoast thing, like, well, we'll compete where we must, but we have to cooperate where we can. So it's this desperate effort to engage with the Chinese while trying to look tough, which is nonsensical. Now, the Chinese response to this has been to get more aggressive and more demanding, and actually look at the United States and say, well, if you want to engage me, you have to pay a price for that. That's not free. I mean, so the Chinese are basically getting tougher and angrier and more bellicose and saying, well, the United States has to give us something for this to stop before we deign to talk to them. This is ridiculous. I don't think it's leading to World War III, but it's wasting time, and it makes us look like yahoos. And here we are, trying to convince the rest of the world to get serious about China, and we're basically have an administration that's groveling at the feet of the Chinese, pleading for them to answer the phone. It literally is Keystone Cops, running the White House here. Nobody probably remembers the Keystone Cops, but you can
I'm
go
sure
on YouTube and all you have to do is go on YouTube, put in Keystone Cops, watch 3 seconds of an old, black and white silent Keystone Cops thing, and you will get the visual image of what the hell's going on in this White House, which is it lurches back and forth between incompetence, malicious activity, deer in the headlights, and absolute political ideological zealotry, and you never know what you're going to get at any given moment.
Wow, that's why
to me the number one thing is to say the report comes out that Chinese are basing spying out of Cuba. The first thing the administration says, "Oh well, that's not happening," and then because they don't want to say they have to get tough on the Chinese. And then, of course, overwhelmingly, the evidence says, well, it is happening. And then everything is, well, it actually started in Trump, so it's not our fault.
Yeah. It's exhausting. It's exhausting for the American people, and there are consequences. We appreciate you, Jim Carafano. Thank you for being with us here. You always bring us the facts, and we appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Bye-bye. Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation, Jim Carafano, on Twitter at JJ Carafano. Let's go now to Miami, and we're watching as there are a lot of folks there with flags that are Trump flags. They have been waiting for President Trump to arrive. He has. He is being fingerprinted ahead of his arraignment. Wow, what words to say on a Tuesday afternoon. Alina Habba is going to speak now. Let's listen in as the Trump spokesperson takes a podium.
Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden himself retained possession of classified documents that have not been prosecuted. And none of them came into possession of those documents while they were president. None of them were president who, as the head and sole member of the executive branch, has the power to summarily declassify documents. The decision to pursue charges against President Trump while turning a blind eye to others is emblematic of the corruption that we have here. We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon. This is not our America. Thank you.
So what's happening right now inside the courthouse? Has he been arrested? Has he been fingerprinted? Has a mugshot been taken? Walk us through what's happening here now.
President Trump is in a very unique position where he doesn't need to be given a mugshot, obviously. He is not a flight risk. He is the leading candidate of the GOP at the moment. He is going through a process that has been coordinated with Secret Service, and it will all be handled seamlessly.
And thank you, guys. The attorneys, what is this stand?
And they're wrapping up. Alina Habba there, the Trump spokesperson, speaking and saying what I think. I don't know that there are any revelations in that comment from Alina, but we're going to bring you the news as it continues to come. We're going to take a quick break right now. Just got done speaking with Jim Carafano on these issues here in Miami, of course, the ones surrounding Joe Biden and the ones that are still taking place. They don't stop coming across the southern border when we pay attention to other things. In fact, sometimes I think they come more. I love speaking with Jim Carafano and always grateful for him on the show here. When we come back, we'll get you the latest update of what's taking place in Miami. We'll get the crew back in here and have a discussion about it and invite you to join us. You can follow us on the Odyssey app. Follow 97.1 FM Talk, AUDACY, download it. You can see the Annie Frey Show there as well. And you can watch on the Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat portion of today's live broadcast, today's YouTube live chat poll. If Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? Need to know what you think? Leave your comments. We'll be back in a minute.
Will it wash out in the water, or is it always in the blood?
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Love I need, but it's never gonna come the way I am. Could I change it if I wanted? Can I rise above the flood? Will it wash out in the water, or is it always in the blood?
Stewart's American Mortgage, where you can go and put your mortgage purchase or your refinance in the hands of Stewie and the Bagel Loan. This is a smart financial move. You, of course, are capable of listening to Stewie explain the bagel loan to you and making that decision for yourself. I did that myself. I'm a 2-time customer of Stewie when rates were coming down, historic lows, blah, blah, blah. I refinanced twice because they kept coming down, and the bagel loan did not cost you anything to go through it. No closing costs. No brainer. If you have gotten a mortgage in the last year or so, you might, and the rates were super high, you might realize now that they've come down since then. And a refinance with Stewart's American Mortgage is going to help you save money with that lower rate that you can get right now. It's not a historic low, but if it's lower than what it was before and you don't have to pay any closing costs, what are you waiting for? Reach out to Stewie and get the process started now. If you're looking to purchase a home, use the bagel loan. No closing costs, no title fees, none of that stuff. You're going to save so much money with Stewie. You're going to be glad you called him, glad you texted him. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
For the first time since 2020, the third edition of the Karen's Cup. Beginning June 3rd, players will compete for a $180,000 prize fund. This tournament features 10 of the top female chess players in the world, including returning champion Hampi Koneru, along with top-rated American Irina Krush. It's one of the most decisive classical tournaments in chess that you won't want to miss. Catch all the action on the St. Louis Chess Club YouTube and Twitch channels.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
The summer is finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery. Basically, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. It's time to call right now. It's also a great time of year to get the air ducts cleaned this month. It's a 20% savings on all services. That air duct cleaning will help alleviate allergies and asthma. You're going to enjoy a lot less dust. And don't forget about your dryer vent, too. They'll clean that when they do the air duct cleaning, and it's going to make your clothes dry a lot quicker. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,600 reviews. I have depended on them for years. They have the legendary Zero Res 30-day gotta love it guarantee to make it easy to get what you pay for. And again, this month, you may have waited. You save now. Book and take advantage of the summer sale. Get 20% off all services. That deal's not going to last long. Call Zero Res today. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. Ask for the Mark Reardon special. Hey, business owners, you can take advantage of Zero Res as well. Zero Res, you spell it backwards or forwards, it spells the same.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
There's never been a better time to get that engagement ring or fine diamond jewelry. Right now at Diamonds Direct, our most exciting offer ever. You can get instant savings up to $5,000 off any purchase or enjoy special financing for up to 5 whole years. Either way, you save big. You can't miss this limited time offer. Design your perfect ring and get our most gorgeous and most flexible financing options. Now through June 30th at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
I don't think they're going to cancel debates just because Trump's not going to show up. But is the polling going to shift? Probably not.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. Two young lovers with nothing better to do than sit around the house, get high and watch a tube.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Headed down to El Paso. I swear they ran.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Glad that you are here with us today. The YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You go on YouTube and you see we're broadcasting live today, this show, as we always do. And in the live chat portion, we always have a poll. Today's is, if Trump were found to be guilty, if Trump were to be found guilty, let me try that again. If Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? Ryan?
Yes. Because I think this is such a politicized move by everybody involved in the swamp of Washington that this shouldn't exist in the first place. Therefore, he shouldn't be going to jail for it. So, yes.
I'm going to say right now, I think the Annie answer is, I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't heard the case. Because I do want that phrase that we'll borrow from the left so much as no one is above the law. I want that to be the accurate case. I don't think that Donald Trump can be in jail and our country move forward without a permanent fracture.
Yeah.
I would like to see other. I want to see anybody who is guilty of these crimes. Like, are we okay with this or are we not? Because if we're okay with it, then take the law off the books. But I think everybody needs to be held accountable. And it's going to take somebody big to navigate this process. But I don't think that Donald Trump needs to be in jail for this. But I could be wrong. I want to just dip in here real quick to the coverage and Brett Baer's analysis as we're watching in Miami live what's taking place at this arraignment. Brad, let's just dip in and listen to what Brett Baer's talking about here.
Which is, this is historic. We've not seen anything like this, and there hasn't been. We've had these moments, but this has never happened for a president to be charged under the Espionage Act. And just talking to some legal experts about this, and this is where this may start to be the defense's take. Why? Why did the DOJ move forward with this? The Presidential Records Act, 1978, was originally had a civil process tied to it. It's not mentioned in this indictment. The Espionage Act is. This has criminalized this based on the national security documents. The Presidential Records Act is designed for presidents, and there is a real argument about whether they can take the documents, where that line is. Lyndon Johnson took documents. We referenced Bill Clinton and what ended up happening in that administration.
With Sandy Berger
and Sandy Berger and the Sox.
And he took them out of the archives.
So there's a real question about the criminalization of this. They lay it out in the documents as a national security issue. But there is some argument to be made about this. And you've seen the former president kind of touch on that a little bit, but his legal defense may go down this really interesting road about the difference between the Espionage Act from 1917 and the Presidential Records Act of 1978, and whether, if he wasn't turning over the documents, it should have been a civil process first. Once you start criminalizing, you get people in, they start testifying under deposition, you flip them, and it becomes all kinds of different things. That's some of the defense argument that they may start to make. Whether it's successful or not, we don't know, right?
All right, let's bring in Jonathan Turley. Andy McCarthy still joining us as well. Why don't you expand on that for us, Jonathan Turley?
Well, the government's going to argue that, yes, this began as a Presidential Records Act matter, but that the archives then informed the FBI that they believed there was classified documents in an unsecure location. And the government's effectively saying, yeah, we switched horses. We viewed that as a classified documents case, a national security case. They probably will get support on that argument by the Court of Appeals if this does get challenged and go above the trial court. There are issues here. You know, this is an odd fit. Many people were sort of repelled by 31 counts alleging Espionage Act violations. That act does talk about mishandling, but it also has an intent standard to harm national security or to help some foreign adversary. Nobody is arguing that there's evidence of harm to national security or an intent to do so. In fact, if you read the government's indictment, they seem to be sort of latching on a different motivation. In talking about that audio tape, they're treating it sort of like a trophy, that maybe these documents were kept by the president out of vanity. Well, that may be true, but it then has a hard fit with an Espionage Act claim, and that's the majority of these counts.
Hey, Jonathan, Brett wants to ask you something here. I just want to make sure his mic is open.
Well, thanks. I just have one thing, Jonathan, and that is something Senator Rubio talked about and you've just touched on, and that is the harm. We understand what the statute is, what they're going down with the indictment as they allege, but the harm here and whether national security was harmed and whether that factors in potentially. Was there a document destroyed? Was there a document that was somehow accessed or given to the press or some foreign entity? Was there harm here in understanding how they're handled, but does that factor into the legal aspects of this?
I think it will. Quite frankly, some of us have been critics of the Espionage Act for our entire careers. Those of us in the free speech community, this is a horrific act. It was designed to crack down on political dissidents. It has been used in some of the worst cases in our history. So you'll find very few supporters of this act among certainly the free speech community. And this really gets to it, that is, the government often reaches for the Espionage Act of 1917 when they don't have other options. It is the sort of all-purpose act that they can use to go after targeted individuals. This may be a bridge too far, certainly for many people in the public. You know, they will argue that the harm was the mishandling. But there's another statute dealing with the taking of classified documents. They clearly didn't want to go under that statute. But in putting so much of this on the Espionage Act, they're really sort of, you know, raising in the public's mind whether this is too clever by half. You know, that, you know, there's the fact is that even if the Trump people knock out those 31 counts, they still have 6 counts that they have to deal with. But the question for some in the public will be, well, why not? Why did you just focus on those 6 counts? Why did you have to count stack and say that this is an espionage case?
So we're listening to some of the Fox coverage right now of President Trump, who has been arrested on federal charges. Some of these signs. That's not nice. They're at the federal courthouse in Miami, and there's a lot of supporters out there. There's a lot of signage out there. And I think that the biggest, most important thing here that every individual voter, every individual American has to wrestle with is you are being programmed with a preconceived notion about Donald Trump because of everything leading up to this point. And I'm talking to people on both sides.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People are passionate on both sides. And the facts of the case, we know the prosecution and what the prosecution has laid out. We've listened to legal minds that I trust, Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy on the Fox panel right now, and on our show yesterday to start the show off. We were grateful for his time here on the Andy Frey Show, that there are people saying, yeah, there's actual legal trouble here. This is not the same hoax witch hunt that we've seen in hot pursuit of Donald Trump's demise since Donald Trump's been on the political scene. This is not the same as that. My conflict even if it were someone handed me a magic wand and said, here, Annie, fix it, do it. It's up to you. You make the case here. If everybody is saying this is the same as Hillary Clinton's emails, this is the same as Joe Biden's Corvette documents, this is the same as Mike Pence's documents. I don't even know a whole lot about that case. Mike Pence has got to be sitting there going, ooh. Like, nobody's talking about me. Do I want them talking about me? I'm running for president. Maybe I want to get in this. I don't think I want to get in this game. If people on the right are saying this is the same thing that Hillary Clinton did, or this, or alleging that this is in the same arena or league as what these other people have done, we've been complaining about that for a long time. And you've wanted her in an orange jumpsuit. You've wanted Joe Biden to be, the comparison is uncanny. I'm not in the game here to be an at all costs person, because there's one thing that I am, as a voter and a citizen, not as a radio show host. That doesn't mean crap when I go vote. I'm just one person with my own perspectives and my own opinions. I'm not interested in saying, well, they did it, so my guy can do it too. I deal with this crap every day as a parent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She did it first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It was wrong. You can't do that. And so you sit here and you don't have the whole facts of the matter. You haven't heard the defense really pour out there what their actual in-court defense is going to be. But I'm not interested in being a hypocrite, and I hate hypocrisy. So what happens next? Because deciding to go all in, I think Kevin said in our chat here, he's like, well, it's sad that it came to this, but this is the way that people do need to understand that no one is above the law. I mean, the FCC regulates what I want to say back to that.
Speaking of the state.
Hey, Hannah, come in here. I got something I need to say, and you got the words to say it. Just kidding. We can't stop.
Right.
Just stop. We're in a bind. Why? Because we've put politics above all else for as long as I've been paying really close attention to politics, which is about 2014, 10 years. And I'm saying real close attention. So what do we do now? I don't know. Maybe the culmination of this is we're screwed. That's a fun thought. Feel good about that?
Man, if we really want to go the nobody is above the law route, I mean, if that's where we're going to go.
That is where we want to go.
Right. And we're going to do this. That means that Joe Biden, who's currently under investigation for the same thing, classified documents, not having them.
And other things.
And other things. And that also means that Mike Pence, who had classified documents, regardless if they turned them back in or not, they were not supposed to have them. Maybe lesser charges, whatever. They need to be prosecuted. They need to go through and have their day in court to find out if there was malicious intent or not, if they violated any sort of acts or not. We either prosecute everybody or we prosecute nobody.
Here's where I'm at on this issue right now. And we're going to take a break, and I'm going to ask you, Ryan, what you think. Because I believe it to be important for Americans looking at this right now, knowing that this is a politically motivated day. A dark day. Another commenter said something to the effect of wow, this is a really good day for talk radio. Well, screw that. Yeah, we're real happy here about this. This is just kick your heels up in the air, excitement because this is good for me. That's pretty offensive as well. It's a bad day. And the fact that I don't have an answer to it on a show where a lot of people probably think that I wake up to come here and purport to give you all the answers, boy, is that not the truth. I have as many, if not more, questions than everyone else. I don't have the answers. And maybe the first step in figuring out what we do next is to stop acting like we have all the answers before we have all the facts. Maybe that's not the right answer. I'll ask Ryan when we come back. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? Need to know what you think. Maybe you've got the answer. We'll be back in a minute.
Go on, take the money and run.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Go on, take the money and run. Go on, take the money and run.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Texas. You know he knows just exactly what the facts is.
314-961-4300, the phone number to call Closet Factory and have them come wave their magic wand and solve some of your problems. I am so grateful for the Closet Factory and the ability that they have to transform space that's currently in your house and to make it work for you. Boy, what a novel concept. I can also just explain to you how they can come into your garage, take the things that are scattered all around where you try to park your car, and then there's that space where you used to park your car, but stuff took over. And now you park your car in the garage and or in the driveway, and you don't love it. Maybe you park it on the street. You really don't love that because there's junk in your garage that is taking up space. Let's talk about putting that stuff in customized storage, using the vertical space, using the ceiling space, using storage that is made purposely for your needs so that you can get your car back in your garage. They do that. They can come to your home and customize a solution for you in your garage so that you can get that car back into the garage. And those storms that come through St. Louis famously in the spring and the summer, they're not going to affect your car. You can breathe a little bit easier that way. They are magicians. They've been to my home multiple times to do multiple projects. I love every inch of what they've done in my home, and I know you will as well in yours. 314-961-4300, online at closetfactory.com.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NewScale dared by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
We've been talking about it. We want to know what you think. If Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll. That is the question. Answer and let us know. We'll read the results at the end of the show. It's 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Hannah had you at a B- on your time check there before you even did it, which sounds like how everybody feels about Donald Trump.
Yeah, she had already convicted me of a B- on the time check.
Is anybody a B- on Donald Trump though? It's A plus F,
actually,
right?
I would say Ron DeSantis supporters are B- on Trump because they would probably still go for Trump, but they would prefer DeSantis. Hi, Annie.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I would give myself a B- C+ on Trump right now.
A C+, okay.
I wanted your reaction from what we talked about in the last segment.
The topic being nobody is above the law seemed to be percolating quite a bit. My question, and Jonathan Turley said this too, is what exactly is the law that we're referring to? Because he talked about the Espionage Act being pretty questionable, that people use that a lot as a catch-all. So if that's the law that nobody's above, it sounds like that could kind of catch anybody at any time, is what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the question, is the FBI above the law? Because they certainly act like it. Who do they answer to anymore? The president, who's barely there? The FBI in this case concerning Joe Biden has been stonewalling, Congress from getting the whistleblower document. So is the FBI above the law too? Because that's what we're seeing happen in America right now.
Well, that document you're talking about is also a non-secret document, and they had the members of Congress that were allowed to see it by the FBI had to go to a SCIF, a secure intel facility, to see this document that is not a top secret document.
Correct. And I love the question that Jonathan Turley also asked, which is who has been harmed? I think that's a very important question as an American to ask, not party politics, but who has been harmed? Because if the answer to that question is America, because of classified material being exposed out in the open at Mar-a-Lago, you could say, that is not really at issue here. That hasn't been an issue since August of last year when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago and took those documents. They're no longer out there at all. So if you are cheering this because of national security, no, you're not. You're cheering this because you like the prosecution of Donald Trump, not because you're concerned with national security, because you haven't been concerned about that really for a long time.
Let me ask a question here. Interesting, broad-based question. If Donald Trump is found guilty of something that obviously would have to be proven to be the case for him to be found guilty, from what I understand, the Democrats are very concerned about this judge in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So if he were to be found guilty, do we assume? I mean, I'm assuming that if he were to be found guilty, that they would have made the case that he was guilty and found as such. That this isn't the same as Bragg, Manhattan.
Yeah,
this is different.
It is different.
The environment is different. There are people who are Trump people, and there are people who are MAGA people. And those people intersect, but they're not all the same. I actually think that there are some Trump people who are Trump first, not America first, which is really the policy base that Donald Trump has. If Donald Trump were no longer in the race, heck, if he were in jail, does that mean that the Democrats win?
Kind of, I think so. Yeah, because this, like I said at the beginning, I think this whole thing, it cannot be removed from politics. It is political. So the only purpose in doing it is political. Therefore, they would have politically won.
I don't think anybody wins. Like, yeah, they might win the political victory, but does anybody really win in this situation?
I think they only win if you make the war about Donald Trump. Doesn't have to be. It's a huge battle. It's a huge battle in this war. And folks, there are likely 2 more indictments coming to President Trump. When we covered this the first time, it was historical. Let me get my words here. Extraordinary, American history, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump, twice impeached.
Mm-hmm.
They've got all the words down. And it's going to this big moment that is sucking all the oxygen out of the room in the country right now is going to happen 2 more times. You can count on it. I don't think that conservative-minded, patriotic Americans on both sides of the aisle should look at this. Look at solely Donald Trump as if Donald Trump is the all-encompassing war that we're fighting. Because what we are fighting right now in this country is so much bigger than Donald Trump. If they do this to him, though, they will martyr him. And his movement will have more power and influence than it ever could have had before. Because if they take him out of the picture, when I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA people, they are not the same people. There are Trump people who will, it's Trump or nothing. But there are MAGA people that will grow in numbers when they witness what they're willing to do on the left, the far left, to eliminate their political opponents. They see what's going on. Keep your eye on the ball. And if they are successful in doing this to Donald Trump, man, I don't know if they really understand exactly what they've gotten themselves into. Let's talk more about it in the 2 o'clock hour. We'll be back in a minute.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
Let's talk about Ruler Foods and the savings that you can get today at Ruler Foods, the one closest to you. 10 for $10 stock up event. It's going on through today, and you can save lots of money. Chef Boyardee canned pasta, 10 for 10. Manwich, 10 for 10. I love Manwich. Are you a Manwich guy? You seem like you're a Manwich guy.
It's been a while, but I do like it when we have it.
Bread, Manwich,
Yep.
American cheese, bread.
Ooh, with cheese.
10 of 10.
Delish. Maybe even open face, 2 pieces of cheese.
No, I'm there.
4?
Yeah, open
Yes.
face for sure.
You can get 10 of them for $10, Ryan, at Ruler Foods. Hurry, though, because it ends today. Hunt snack packs, 10 for $10. This is just a list of things Ryan Wiggins wants
That's
to eat.
why I shop there.
Yeah.
Like, they just boil it down to the best of the best.
This is just a shopping list. What the heck is going on here?
I slipped that in there in front of your copy.
Yeah, you just want me to go buy this for you. If you're looking to save money like Ryan Wiggins is, like I am, you go to Ruler Foods, and that's just by nature of shopping there. You're saving money. Go to rulerfoods.com to find the one closest to you, rulerfoods.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. The former president in federal court. I'm Lisa Brady. Donald Trump has just been arrested, fingerprinted, and booked on 37 counts in a classified documents probe, set to plead not guilty before a federal judge in Miami. A Trump spokesperson, Alina Habba, just telling reporters outside the courthouse he's being persecuted.
The decision to pursue charges against President Trump while turning a blind eye to others is emblematic of the corruption that we have here.
A crowd's been building, but so far not the thousands some expected. Fox's Evan Brown with more in Miami.
There are plenty of Trump supporters and detractors coming to the plaza here in front of the Wilkie D. Ferguson Miami Federal Courthouse.
I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I'm living in Fort Lauderdale now.
Yes, I drove down from Northern Virginia. 15 hours total.
And a lot of them are not happy that they won't be able to see what's going on inside the courtroom during the proceeding.
I think what they should do, they should air it on all TV, any social media, and let all the evidence come out as well.
Federal prosecutors accuse Trump of hiding classified documents and obstructing efforts to have them returned. President Biden meeting with the head of NATO, who says Ukraine is gaining ground.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says Ukraine's military is making advances after launching a counteroffensive against Russian troops this month.
It's still early days, but what we do know is that the more land Ukrainians are able to liberate, the stronger hand they will have at the negotiating table.
Both leaders say the alliance is stronger since the Russian invasion. Finland has since joined NATO, and Sweden is in the process of joining.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Police in Denver now say a drug deal gone wrong is the suspected cause of a mass shooting that left 10 people injured last night. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Simply Safe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine going through our Tuesday afternoon. Nice temperatures, though a little bit warmer than yesterday. 82 for the high. Humidity level still very comfortable. Plus the winds kicking up just a little bit. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 62 for the low. Wednesday and Thursday, partly to mostly sunny skies, a little bit warmer, but nothing extreme. 89 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I don't want to be a watchman on the wall about little things like getting your dental appointment made, but do it now. Get your dental appointment made for this summer because appointments are going to fill up, and by the time it's time to go back to school, especially if you have kids or grandkids, you're going to want to have that appointment set because so many schools are going to say, well, did you have your appointment yet? Did you get your cleaning done? We need to see that. Fountains Family Dentistry can get you in when it's convenient for you, whether that be early morning, late evening. They know everybody's schedule, both with your kids and with your work, is different. And so they do that for you. Monday through Thursday is the best time to see them. Emergencies outside of that, they can get you in really quick, but make them their home office so you never really have to worry about it. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois, right off of Highway 64, so easy to get to anywhere in the Metro East, but also in Missouri. Their website is fountainsfamilydentistry.com. And again, they make appointments easy by allowing you to make one right there online, or you can give them a call at 618-622-1800. Fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Station KFTK, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing a broad outreach for job vacancies at our stations. We seek the help from local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our stations. Community organizations that wish to receive our job vacancy information can reach out to Frankie Fan at 206-577-2432. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job vacancies of all Odyssey radio stations.
Is your summer staffing situation significantly scarce? Then you need Indeed. Their powerful all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are grateful that you were spending some of this extraordinarily unprecedented American historical. How do you do this?
You didn't say federal indictment. You have to add the adjectives, otherwise it's not historical.
And then the next two that we do won't be historical. They'll be like second
maybe,
annual.
Yes, find some different adjectives and then maybe we can.
We should make it a fair. Or a circus.
There is going to be a cakewalk. But you got to pay to enter.
Or a perp walk.
Or a perp walk.
On cake.
There's going to be the perp walk will be a number of squares you have to stand on them when the music stops.
We really get the opportunity here on the Annie Frey Show to set precedents because this is extraordinary and unprecedented in American history as to how to react to these things.
Isn't it great that we get to react?
Let's not miss an opportunity here to make this real fun.
Okay. I mean, it's a party. You look at the footage, look at what it looks like in New Jersey right now.
Jersey?
Wait, I thought he was in New Jersey.
Miami.
Bedminster, New Jersey? Oh, he had to go to Miami from New Jersey. He's speaking in New Jersey tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why it's fun because
Yeah.
it's in Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
Those people are probably all from Jersey. They're like, let's go to Miami.
Hey, yeah, that's why they're having fun.
Who do you got? No, not yet. Okay, we're gonna get some reaction here from people on Fox News who are commenting on it, and there are tons of people out there. I don't know. You kind of have to. The Trump multiplier is very similar to the media multiplier when a local media place does an event and it's like, how many people showed up? It's like divide it by what, 7, 10.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there. There's definitely a show of support for Donald Trump. There's definitely a show of dissatisfaction for Joe Biden. I'm sure that there are people who are there supporting Joe Biden who hate Donald Trump, so they're probably protesting. What are you laughing at?
They were zoomed in on that crowd, and there's just palm trees everywhere, and I'm like, wow, that looks like a great time in New Jersey.
Yeah.
With those palm trees.
Yeah, I didn't get that portion. Miami looks beautiful, but President Trump has entered his plea of not guilty. We said off the air, like, wouldn't it be crazy? Like the bombshell here would be if he entered a guilty plea. Of course, he's not, and they have said as such leading up to this moment. But he has officially entered a not guilty plea to 37 charges in the documents case in federal court in Miami. And we're sitting here and we're covering this live for you. And I'm balancing this live in real time. I've never covered one of these before because nobody has covered one of these before. This has never happened. And I just sit here and I think to myself, what is the appropriate response to this? And I don't think we know what the appropriate response is.
Well, it's funny because we actually we've never covered a unprecedented federal indictment of a president, but we have covered now an indictment of a president, and it actually was pretty similar, although that one being in New York did look a little bit different. You're just sitting there waiting to watch him walk out, if you're going to even see him at all. I remember last time Fox or the AP got one shot of him looking toward the camera, and we went, that's the one, that's it, that's what you wait for all day. And it's kind of the same today, where you're just kind of sitting there watching people.
So we know that the plea is not guilty, and there's 37 charges, and Andy McCarthy is reacting right now. Former federal prosecutor was on our show yesterday. Let's listen into what Andy McCarthy has to say.
In principle, I don't know that he's right down here on planet Earth, but it'll be interesting to measure what he said. I think, Martha, he really put a marker down with that, and I would combine that with the way he has laid out in detail the different classified documents that they are attributing to former President Trump. The reason I was so surprised about that is that normally in a national security case, the government would say, it would be too harmful to have this information out in the public domain, and they try to have as much of a clamp on it as they can. In this instance, he put it out there, and he put it out there under circumstances where the very first thing that he told the public in his press conference, as you mentioned, is this idea of one standard of justice. Well, now you have simultaneously a situation where President Biden is also under investigation by a special counsel for mishandling classified information. And I'm just wondering if there's one standard of justice, now that we've gotten an indictment, and we've got an itemized list of all these different classified documents that they took from former President Trump, where they gave you the gist of what the document was about. They gave you the classification level, and they put in there what the duration of his illegal possession of them was. Is there any good reason, I can't think of one, why we shouldn't get a similar itemized list to show that there's only one standard of justice? A similar itemized list showing every document. Well, obviously, they're not going to tell us everything that's in it, but the kind of information they gave about Trump, I think they ought to give about Biden. Give us an itemized list, tell us the classification levels, and tell us how long he possessed them.
I think that's a really interesting point by Andy McCarthy.
And,
Well, Martha McCallum and I are saying the exact same thing. If we are setting what the standard is right now, you could work backwards from here.
Yeah, I like that he's looping in. Look, if you're going to say that nobody's above the law, then let's also talk about the investigation into Joe Biden right now. because that actually is happening right now, and it's just not getting the attention from the mainstream media.
We need to be more specific than that, because the classified documents is different.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I mean, the bigger story here, if I were choosing my horse in this race and I was trying to figure out which legal scenario seems the worst to me, this Burisma $10 million bribe is incredible that this is part of our national conversation right now. Understanding exactly what Joe Biden is accused of doing here is incredible. And you know, of course, while we watch Donald Trump being arraigned here, it's important for us to cover the news of the day, and I'm not afraid to do that. And I think we've done a pretty good job of it so far, of making sure that we're giving you the news as it happens. But let's talk about the news as it happens. Listen to Congressman Donalds.
Let me tell you, this FBI report is a damning report. First of all, they had us go to a secure facility where we read classified information to read an unclassified document. If there was nothing to see here, why would FBI go to such lengths? Then you actually read the document. And when you read the document, one thing that becomes crystal clear is that the people at Burisma knowingly paid $5 million to Hunter, $5 million to Joe Biden, so that Joe Biden would use the power of his office as vice president to pressure Ukraine to fire the prosecutor who was looking into Burisma.
So you have this document that has been in the possession of the FBI for how long? Years?
Yeah.
Years. They've known about this for years. Did they know about it before President Biden was President Biden?
Well, yes.
Does that matter? I think it does.
Yep.
Here's
the Biden family has at least 20 shell companies that were created for the sole purpose to launder money to at least 9 Biden family members. When you create a bunch of shell companies for the sole purpose of laundering money, that's called racketeering. And the money laundering, those aren't my words. Those are the words of at least 6 big publicly traded banks that filed bank violations against the Biden family. They said it sure appears that they're money laundering. So these are some serious crimes that we've already uncovered, but there's still many more banks to go and many more shell companies that I think that we'll discover along the way.
We know of the shell companies.
Yep.
They exist. Money has come into many people in Joe Biden's family. And there's no service or product or good that is anywhere that could and would easily be pointed to like, no, I'm an electric engineer and I electrically engineered things for them. That's not, I clearly am not. There is no sense to the income that the Biden family was able to take in from foreign adversaries, foreign governments. And there is a document. I mean, I can't do it, but I want to pick up my chair and throw it. When I think about squirrely Adam Schiff talking about all of the things that he had on Donald Trump when it came to the impeachment process, when it came to previous to the impeachment process, the Russia collusion narrative, there was a complete paid-for fabrication for a political purpose. I mean, that's factual. Fight me on it. That is factually based. The dossier, which was complete and total baloney sausage, was used to feed a narrative into the media to make you believe that Donald Trump was interested in becoming president of the United States to enrich himself and his good friend Vladimir Putin. The whole point of that was to make sure that he didn't ever get elected. That's why Hillary Clinton paid for it. Then we listened to James Comey and Clapper and Adam Schiff and all of their merry men and women take their marching orders to make sure that they repeat all of the necessary things so that what you need to understand is just trust us. We've got the goods. We've got it. And when you see it, boy, whoo-wee, you are just going to be jaw-dropped about what Donald Trump has been capable of and why he's so dangerous to democracy. That's what we heard over and over and over again, but we never saw anything. There's no evidence. Of course there was no evidence because it was a freaking lie. There is a document on file from a whistleblower. Remember the words whistleblower? Boy, did we hear that. There's a document on file with the FBI that's just been hanging around there in this 1023, which is a phrase that I now know. Don't know why I need to know it, but that's the kind of document that was there, that these congressmen and women were able to go view in a skiff in a highly secure location because it was it's not a classified document. It's not a classified document, but it definitely needs to be kept secret. We are really weird on what we care about being classified and not classified. So let's hear real quick from Senator Grassley, who has seen it.
The 1023 produced to the House committees redacted reference that the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden allegedly has audio recordings of his conversation with them. 17 such recordings. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and then Vice President Joe Biden. These recordings were allegedly kept as a sort of insurance policy for the foreign national in case that he got into a tight spot. The 1023 also indicates that then Vice President Joe Biden may have been involved in Burisma employing Hunter Biden.
The receipts exist. Your willingness to look them and surveil them, it's up to you. And if you choose to live in ignorance and not care, free country. We got a lot of that going around right now. It's a bipartisan problem. If you can't see the smoke that is surrounding the Biden family, even worse when you can see it because obviously, and you are unwilling to search for the fire because you don't want to get burned because your guy in the race, the one who you stood by so far, was the savior of the country, the uniter in chief, the guy who was going to be the adult back in the White House and bring a sense of class back to the White House lawn. If you're not willing to look at that or care about it, I got nothing for you. Thanks for being here and listening on the Annie Frey Show, because we care, and we're gonna cover it. We're gonna call it like we see it, balls and strikes. We have cares and concerns about the direction this country heads in, and clearly the Donald Trump Make America Great Again, America First plan is the one that I think is what's best for this country. And the Joe Biden blueprint is a disaster for the country. Outside of that, it looks like it's who's the worst, lesser of two evils. I've had 4 interviews on this show asking different legal experts. Can you become the president? Can you run for president, be in jail, and still be president? Yes? Okay.
I'm nodding.
Here we are, you and me, sitting here going, what in the heck is happening to this country? It will be up to you to take it back. It's not up to Donald Trump. It's not up to Joe Biden. It's not up to the Democrats. It's not up to the Republicans. It's up to you. What are you going to do about it? Let's take a quick break. Back in a second.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Air Comfort Service is there to make sure that your comfort zone is always a button click away. On my phone, Air Comfort Service came and replaced our whole HVAC system. But we have the ability on our phone to change the temperature in our house. That's fantastic. When you're laying upstairs in bed and you're like, God, it's a little warm up here. kick the air conditioning in. You don't have to get up and go walk up to the thermostat. I love that feature, and I was so grateful that they installed that for us when they put in the new system in our house. They do commercial repairs as well. Call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation to get a free second opinion on commercial HVAC repairs. Air Comfort Service has provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for over 50 years, and they're waiting for you to call them if you need their services. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. You reach out to Air Comfort Service. They're going to be there right away to help you. Make sure you mention the Annie Frey Show when you do, and you are going to be so grateful that you have the very best. Check out their Google reviews. They're fantastic as well. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
This Little Light is a new podcast hosted by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Join him as he explores falling in love with music, music education, and the creative process while interviewing the biggest names in music, like Rick Rubin.
I like things that are stripped down. I've always liked things that are stripped down. Then I can get to the point where I like something that's stripped down, and what's it like with an orchestra.
This Little Light is a presentation of Cadence 13. Subscribe and download it now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an Illinois Family Institute, IllinoisFamily.org update. Volunteers are lining busy streets, holding signs with photographs of babies, as well as the victims of abortion.
We go to a busy intersection. We show the reality of abortion. We pass out literature that appeals to the heart to get people to think about the loss that every abortion is.
Eric Scheidler leads the Pro-Life Action League and the organization's Face the Truth tour.
We want to remind people that there's a victim behind abortion to move their opinion farther and farther away from accepting this, not only as a public policy, but even in their own lives. We can restore protection for unborn children in the state if we all join together, if all hands are on deck.
Visit IllinoisFamily.org to stay informed about issues that impact life, faith, families, and freedom, and go there for upcoming events and to sign up for IFI email updates. IllinoisFamily.org.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsacehardware.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I want to play a little bit from this. Harold Ford Jr. and Jesse Waters were on the 5. And it was, I mean, Jesse Waters is he's a scrapper. He's not going to back down from a fight. And I thought that this exchange was really, really interesting and compelling. And I just want to know what you guys think of it. Listen to this.
Why didn't you return the papers when you were asked to?
Well, he
on the
was
third
sifting
occasion?
through them and determining what were personal and what were presidential. And under the Presidential Records Act, as you know, Harold, he has the sole discretion to do that.
Even when he showed it to that reporter?
Well, if you're waving it to that reporter who's an American, how is that different than Hillary's server getting hacked?
By
the
a foreign
DNC
country.
server getting hacked, the Obama administration getting hacked. He put American national security at risk because he went like that in front of an American. Meanwhile,
we'll see.
Joe Biden spread eagle all over the mid-Atlantic in Chinatown. He's got his garage wide open while Hunter's flying in with drunk Chinese spies. Come on, Espionage Act, President. He didn't even start a single war. He wiped ISIS off the map. He put national security at risk, espionage. Chinese are lining the Biden family pockets. Harold Ford Jr., you're better than that. This is death by accusation. First he's a colluding traitor, then he's a rapist, and then he's a Nazi, and now he's throwing papers all over the Middle East for cash. They'll put him on trial, they'll leak, they'll smear. They don't even care how this thing is adjudicated. It doesn't matter. They're scaring away donors and swing voters. Republicans need to get their act together. And they better circle the wagons. If he had cocaine in those boxes that were stacked up in the ballroom, then maybe if he's running a cocaine ring out of Mar-a-Lago, maybe they don't circle the
Joe
wagons.
could send Hunter to check that out.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not. This is about, remember Allen Iverson? We're talking about practice. We're talking about a piece of paper.
A military map.
We're talking about a piece of paper, Harold Ford Jr. Biden gets caught red-handed with Chinese bribes. 9 members of his family. You know what the Democrats do? They circle the wagons. They redefine what a bribe is. You can bribe an entire family with cash, diamonds, and gifts, but if it doesn't hit Joe's bank account, it's not a bribe. Come on, Harold Ford Jr. He's treated like an enemy combatant. They take away attorney-client privilege. And then they're upset because people might get upset in Miami. Yeah, people are upset. I like the fact that he's promising to appoint a special counsel and sick him on Biden if he's elected.
This is a nice monologue.
Ryan Genevieve Wiggins. I love how he goes all in on the Harold Ford Jr.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with that, though? A, he's right. B, now what?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're all wondering. What's the fallout from this? What's the political fallout from this? Because that's the point of the whole thing. He mentioned swing voters, he mentioned donors, and he's very wise to do so because that is the point.
YouTube live chat poll for today is, if Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? I actually think, well, I'm going to let Brad answer this question first. Ryan, you said?
I said yes.
Yes. And we've got Vivek Ramaswamy. Does he talk about the pardon in this clip here? Do you know? In the one I have here?
No, he does not.
He's been out there and he had a rally. Like I got to think that Donald Trump is so conflicted about Vivek right now. Like he's out there rallying people on behalf of Donald Trump, and then Vivek says, "When I'm president, I will pardon Donald Trump." And you got to think Trump's going, "Gosh, there's a lot in that sentence."
Trump's probably going, "Yeah, I don't know that you're going to be president, but you might be transportation secretary."
That's a throwaway job. But Vivek has said that he's calling on, and I always love it when people call on everyone. If you're the type of person who's like, well, Vivek said I had to, you're probably not going to be president.
I call on you to resign.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, well, I guess I will.
I was really enjoying my time here. Vivek says I got to go. The idea that calling on people to say that they would pardon Donald Trump, I know that there are a lot of people listening to the show who like everything Vivek's saying right now. And I am one of them who enjoys a lot of things he's saying. But he's running for president. And this is an incredibly calculated and intelligent political move.
Yeah.
On his part. And I don't know that right now is the time to being like, yeah, I'd pardon him. I think it matters what happens next. But I'm going to say, in addition to what I said earlier on the show, that I don't want to be the person who says, I've been, Hillary's emails, Corvette in the garage, classified docs, $10 million for the big guy or whatever it is, 10% for the big guy, to be upset about all of those things and the prostitution of the country that the Biden family and the Hillary Clinton family and operation has participated in, to be mad about that, and then to find out that Donald Trump has done something of the same thing, which I don't think that we're even at the place where we're talking about apples to apples, but we're in the arena. I'm looking at this saying, if they prosecute Donald Trump, if he's found guilty for this, you pardon him, and then you prosecute the other ones, and you don't pardon them. Because those individuals were the beneficiaries of the system that is set up. And Donald Trump is the victim of a two-tier justice system where the crimes were the same and the pursuit was incredibly different. But I don't know. I'm going to vote yes in today's poll, though. What do you think?
Man, to me, this question isn't a question of, at its core, it's not a question of should Donald Trump be pardoned. It's do you trust the justice system?
The literal question is, should he be pardoned?
Yeah, but that's
not really the question, though.
That's the question you have to ask yourself, because if you trust the justice system and he's found guilty, then he was found guilty the way that we have set up our justice system. He was found guilty by a jury of his peers. He got a fair trial, and he's guilty. Therefore, he should not be pardoned because he did something wrong and he did the crime. But if you don't trust that justice system, which it sounds like Andy doesn't, then you can't know that he got a free and fair trial, that his rights weren't violated, and therefore he deserves to be pardoned, because what he deserves is a fair trial.
I also don't think, though, I think this is worth mentioning in the discussion. I don't know if this persuades anybody differently, but a pardon isn't for somebody who was unfairly treated. I mean, you could be very guilty and very knowingly guilty of the crime that you committed and receive a pardon. So I like, when I'm thinking about a pardon being granted, a precursor for that to me is not that you were hosed. I think that there is mercy in a pardon, not an.
You're not like balancing the scale and saying it was out of whack. I'm balancing it again.
I think that a pardon is merciful. And I think that there are instances where maybe somebody is very questionable as to whether or not they committed the crime. Maybe they've presumed and maintained their innocence the entire time. Could see that being pardoned. But I don't think that we should look at a pardon and say that the only way a pardon is to be granted, and I'm not saying earned, granted. I think it involves a great deal of mercy. And I think that that's actually one of the most amazing things that a president or governor can do, is to issue that mercy based in wisdom and good judgment.
I don't think this is as much an indictment on the justice system as it would be on the process. Because similar example, I would say, is in Michigan. Some nut jobs decide they're going to kidnap the governor of Michigan. And then
Says the Fed.
And then you find and then you find out later.
You got to see what he looks like right now.
Oh, wait a minute.
You got to
because I'm wearing my hat that they say looks like a Fed hat.
This is your secret op?
That when you've set up, they entrapped these guys into doing that crime. Does that mean they're not guilty of that crime? That's a weird line, because they did go through with it after they were suggested to do it, but the FBI did things they shouldn't have done either. So I think we're looking at actually kind of a similar situation here, where it's less about the justice system and the court system in this case, and more about the process, selective prosecution.
What was the entrapment? What was the trap set for Donald Trump in this one? If you're going to compare it to that one, the trap with them was they embedded some FBI agents into this organization and floated the idea of it. They planted the idea of kidnapping Gretchen.
The
Whitmer.
idea being that he was illegally holding documents in the first place. My argument has been, and I think a lot of people's has been the whole time, he's the freaking president. he has had these documents. There's a Presidential Records Act.
Language.
They are doing things that they shouldn't have done even in the first place in doing the raid. Then a lot of these crimes stem from him not cooperating with that raid. So that looks like a process crime more than an actual crime.
Right. But then if that's the case, then he gets into trial. They're like, hey, look, all of these things were violations. Then in a good justice system, the jury goes, yeah, you're right. In a corrupt justice system, the jury's like, you're probably right, but I hate him, so I'm going to vote guilty anyway.
I see your point.
So is it really a process thing? If you screw up the process, the justice system should take it over. So if you screw up the process and the justice system doesn't cover for you, then yeah, it's a justice system issue.
However, if the side that you're being presented with is the FBI's, and it looks like in this case you could say, well, he did obstruct justice. But the argument goes back further than that, that if you're in court and you're just a jury of peers, you're going to have to look at just what you're presented with, not the whole process.
Right, but wouldn't it be incumbent upon then the defense team to present the evidence which you just presented here?
Yes, but I still don't know that they will be able to say, yeah, but the process is corrupt. I don't think that's their role to be able to do that as jurors.
Well, it is if that's a defense.
That's certainly the defense they're going to take is with that and the Presidential Records Act.
I think we should talk about topless trans people when we come back.
You want to pivot a little bit there?
No, I'm going to stay right here. I think it's a great conversation. As I said earlier in the show, we are at this point in the timeline of where Donald Trump has taken us on this political journey, and it's unprecedented. It is. It's a fact of the matter. But the fact that we don't know what happens next, and we have to put everything on the table and pause for a second and look and take in what we're seeing, that's healthy. And anybody else out there who tells you that they have all the answers before we have all the facts, they're selling you something. I'm not trying to sell anything here. I'm just trying to keep you informed, keep myself informed, and have a little fun along the way. Did you see what happened at the White House this weekend?
Yeah.
You were there, weren't you?
No. That wasn't me.
We'll be right
That's where
back.
you're going.
Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Losing weight with Slim 180 is made easier. Of course, losing weight is never simple, but when you get that you unlock that new level of counseling, of maybe you're taking the semaglutide that everybody is talking about. Lots of people are losing a lot of weight with semaglutide. You can get it for a lot cheaper when you go to Slim 180. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you give them a call and say, I heard Annie talking about this. She said she did it and is doing it, and I'd like to know more. And you can sit down and have a conversation with them, and you will quickly understand how people are so successful losing weight with Slim 180. Going onto the website to myslim180.com is going to show you the different programs that they have. It's going to be able to walk you through success stories that they've had in the past. And one of my favorite things about being on this Regenerate program with Slim 180 is that I get to shop at the grocery store for my foods. I don't have to go anywhere specific to get them, although Slim 180 does have the best protein snacks in the world. I love them. I need to go get some more. But I get to sit down and eat food with my family. I get to participate in normal family things instead of feeling so isolated while I try to lose the weight. Slim will get you there. Find them online at myslim180.com.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. GetRefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
There's never been a better time to get that engagement ring or fine diamond jewelry. Right now at Diamonds Direct, our most exciting offer ever. You can get instant savings up to $5,000 off any purchase or enjoy special financing for up to 5 whole years. Either way, you save big. You can't miss this limited time offer. Design your perfect ring and get our most gorgeous and most flexible financing options. Now through June 30th at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
I'm about to deliver today's YouTube live chat poll, which is asking if Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no? Stick around for those final results in just a couple minutes. The time is 2:45. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
I don't think they're going to cancel debates just because Trump's not going to show up. But is the polling going to shift? Probably not.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
This is a great song. I just Googled Wasting My Time because I wanted to check a lyric in it. And you know how Google pops up questions that you might have meant or things that are in... It says, people also ask. And the question is, how do I know if I'm wasting my time? Do people Google that? Can you imagine?
You're wasting your time if you're Googling.
Do you want to know, Ryan?
I do. Well, I would like to know what Google says because I bet it's an endless loop. Do you want to know?
When you click
the
off,
next
it's
link.
just like a
Click the
virus
next
that
link.
takes over. It's just like, ha, 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 ha. How do I know if I'm wasting my time? According to Google, if you find yourself always making excuses for not doing a necessary job or task, then chances are you'd rather be doing something else. And as such, you are wasting time. Moreover, when rendered repeatedly, your mind may interpret excuses as the truth and a genuine reason for inaction. And it's from a web that's I guess a paragraph pulled from aha-now.com. 11 alarming signs that you're wasting your time. I can't imagine wasting my time reading that. It's like super meta.
Let's see what's going on at aha.com.
I wouldn't.
Careful.
Ooh.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe not.
So I was talking about the topless trans activists that were at the Pride Month. There are so many things to be concerned about with this Pride event that they had at the White House. The way it was put together, the way it was celebrated and everything. I mean, if you want to have a Pride event, I get it. I understand it in the sense that you want to acknowledge these people. We have to acknowledge everybody every day. We could go into the flag code and the fact that they had American flags flanking in the center, whatever that flag is called these days. I would call it the diversity flag, but whatever. They're all at the same height. The American flag's supposed to be in the center. It's supposed to be higher. It wasn't. They don't care. They don't even consider these things. They don't even have, that is one of the things that when you're surrounded by good people on your staff, somebody walks in and goes, oh, hey, guys, that the American flag needs to be the center. That's flag code. That needs to be, that should be obvious.
Unless that was their point.
That's the question you have to ask yourself. I don't know if it's incompetence or maliciousness.
As usual.
Yes.
The question we're asking all the time.
I don't know which one I prefer it to be.
Again, we don't know.
So there were videos of transgender individuals on the White House lawn, and some of them were topless. Was the woman that we saw that was holding her chest with her dress pulled down, was that a transgender woman or a woman?
Brad, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the reports are that was a transgender woman.
Well, according to Fox News, the White House condemned trans activist Rose Montoya for going topless at President Biden's Pride Month event on Saturday after video went viral on social media. I wonder why. Montoya and others featured in the video posted by the trans model will not be invited to future events. Aww.
Well, doggone.
A White House spokesperson said in a statement, quote, this behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate LGBTQI+ families or the other hundreds of guests who were in attendance. Individuals in the video will not be invited to future events. Montoya, a TikTok influencer and biological male who is transgender, originally posted the video from Saturday's event. It shows Montoya and another unnamed transgender activist, a biological female, bearing their breasts on the South Lawn with the White House in view behind them. So that happened.
What they're saying is that the White House does not support the Free the Nipple movement. That's what I gather. Because if they did, they would be in full support of this.
You are allowed to have your own interpretation. I just was disgusted that this was in my casual Twitter feed of enraged conservatives, enraged Cardinals fans, and some Disney stuff. I'm like, and then I saw that, I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Yikes!
Me too.
My husband's sitting in his old person chair next to me and just seeing me scroll my computer going, what are you looking at? I'm like, it's just the White House. Don't worry about it.
It's just the Rose Garden.
Mm-hmm. Where things went down. It is what it is. We're living in a weird world, and we're here to cover it. Hannah, you want to get to the YouTube poll?
Yes. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking if Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned? Yes or no. I'll read some comments pertaining to that poll. Vicky says that she chose no. She doesn't believe in pardons in general for anyone. So not just for Donald Trump, but she doesn't believe in pardons for anyone. G-Wibs says if Biden and Hillary remain free, Trump should too. Blues Lifer said that he voted yes because who trusts the process anymore? The stage is set. The gig is up.
Rip America.
I don't even want to say that. Dirk says that he voted no. You pay the price for breaking the law no matter who you are. I agree with this comment. I voted no on the poll. If Trump were to be found guilty, I don't believe that he should be pardoned. Quick Rick says prison for Trump would be the equivalent of a timeout for your 2-year-old. He should stay there until he knows the error of his ways or until it's time to eat. Joe, a regular commenter on our YouTube channel, commented, I almost voted no out of principle, but the more I thought about it, that's the exact reason why I voted yes. Steve says, if yes, then absolutely pardoned. So if Trump is found guilty, Steve believes he should absolutely be pardoned. Chris F. said that he voted no on the poll. Clinton and Biden should be charged as well. That seemed to be a common theme throughout the comments. Wavy says, the poll shows the immense damage being done to this country and the Republican Party. We are no longer the party of law and order. Sad. Once again, the poll is asking if Trump were to be found guilty, should he be pardoned, yes or no? With 168 votes, 77% of the people say that Trump should be pardoned if he was found guilty. 23% of the people say that he should not be pardoned.
I'm not surprised by that. I think that's a pretty understandable response to that question. And I don't know if we're going to get the chance to see this. This could go on for so incredibly long. And by the time we get back to this case being in court, we'll probably have other indictments. We'll have more days like this, and we'll all do the same thing again, I guess.
I just get the sense that while the average person is kind of like tuning their ear in a little bit and going, oh, that's something different, that they don't, it's just because it's in the news that there's not really moving the needle at all. I just don't get the sense that the average person who doesn't necessarily tune into politics very closely is really going to be moved by this.
Can we go back to the topless trans model?
Yeah.
I got to read this last line in this article from Fox News. This is a quote from Montoya, who is the transgender woman, as I understand that if I'm reading this carefully. Montoya doubled down on the display of nudity in a follow-up video on TikTok, arguing that going topless is legal in Washington, D.C. And then Montoya said, I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple.
Hey!
My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy. And I wanted to join them. And because it is perfectly within the law of Washington, D.C., I decided to join them and cover my nipples just to play it safe.
Yep, she did. That was safe.
Here's the thing. Here's the last quote. Montoya said, I had zero intention of trying to be vulgar or profane in any way. I was simply living my joy and my truth and existing in my body.
That's all she was doing. She was bouncing up and down out of joy.
Not trying to be vulgar or profane in any way. Again, this is a fully clear example of the world is there to serve you. And if this is how you feel joy and my truth and the fact that this is just you existing in your body, then everybody should understand it isn't vulgar or profane. Vulgarity and profanity is offensive to the people receiving it. It's not about the person doing it. Anything that you could possibly do that is vulgar or profane, if done in complete privacy, is, if it's just you alone by yourself, I would assume is not really vulgar or profane, because the vulgarity and the profanity exists because of what it's being done to somebody else. And I don't understand how to move from a place where you can look at what this individual was doing on the White House lawn, and her real mentality in that moment is that she was, quote, simply living my joy and my truth and existing in my body. That is not a normal thought when it involves you pulling your dress down, putting your hands over your nipples, which you said you were doing just to be safe, and then gyrating around in front of a camera on TikTok for all of China to see.
Gyrating, that's the word I was looking for. I said bouncing. My mistake.
They're both right.
I got to give that person credit. Didn't know they were fake.
Time to end the show.
Where will Mark Reardon go from here? Right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow. The Reardon Show up next.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair